Hey, it's Nikki with FM99. This is FM99's Backstage Pass presented by Area 51 Tobacco and Novelties. I am sitting here talking to the one and only Maynard James Keenan. How are you?
I'm in Texas.
Okay. That's all I need to know. Yeah. Excellent. Well, we have you coming out here with your band Puscifer. You're going to be at Chrysler Hall next Thursday, November 3rd. We're excited
Where?
about that.
What city?
You're going to be in Norfolk in Maynard.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Have you been here with Puscifer before? I know we've had you here before.
I think we have. I always nowadays I base cities on either wine distribution or wherever I've trained with somebody jiu-jitsu in that town. So I think I have, yes.
Yeah, I believe that. You've got a lot of stuff going on. So along with you being here live next week, which we'll talk about a little bit more, you've got some streaming events coming up this weekend.
Yes.
Tell me about those.
So during the because of the lockdown, we couldn't tour at all, and so we had a brand new album coming out, and we did Existential Reckoning concert film at Arcasante that we released on the same day as the album release in 2020. And that process was pretty fun. So we went ahead and did the Money Shot album, which was called Billy D and the Hall of Feathered Serpents. Same thing, a lot of little extra bits and bobs. And it was really fun. And we still weren't able to tour. So while we were still home, I went ahead and we just did Parole Violator, which is conditions of my parole, and a bunch of extra bits along with that.
Yeah.
And we did V is for Versatile, which is a rework of a bunch of the whole V is for Vagina, V is for Viagra era songs, all the EPs, so that stuff, and that's called V is for Versatile. We did two. We had time, so fuck it.
Yeah. It gave you something to do, kept you from being bored, although I don't know how you could possibly be bored. On those streaming events, where do we get tickets?
Puscifertv.com.
Okay. And then we can tune in for those. So along with all of this other stuff, you got a couple of other bands. The people, our listeners who are fans of those other bands who may not have, they don't know much about Puscifer. What will they see with Puscifer versus the other bands that they may have seen you play in?
Well, they're completely different conversations with completely different people. So, and I'm not one to repeat myself. So the music won't be the same. The visuals won't be the same. It'll be a whole different vibe. We have far more in common with the Book of Mormon than we do with Perfect Circle.
Okay.
So there's a lot of theatrics. The music, beautiful soundscape, landscape tracks. A lot of synths. And it's a nice marriage of live drums, live bass, married to manually played synth patches, synth loops. So yeah, it's an interesting journey that has a lot in common sonically with things like Kraftwerk or Devo.
Okay.
It's a fun trip.
Yeah. Now, it was first, if I read this correctly, publicized as a fictional band on Mr. Show.
Well, Mr. Show was not the first. It was actually during a stage presentation during a thing called Tantrum back in LA in the early 90s. We hit the stage right around the same time that Tenacious D was on the same stage. So a lot of, like a pre-Mr. Show era, but yes, similar people, similar comedians, but it kind of progressed from there.
Yeah, yeah. Now you have you had a background in set design. Does this kind of allow you to use some of that?
Yes. As far more character development.
Okay.
Matt Mitchell is definitely at the helm when it comes to laying out the actual tour stage, and those elements. But as far as the story and how ends up kind of informing how that stage gets set up, I'm the one who's writing these characters and these words. So as the storyteller, that ends up kind of helping the set designer, and then in this case, it would be Sarah Landau and Matt Mitchell.
Okay. Awesome. So along with all of that, like you don't have enough going on, wine making. I know that your grandparents made wine in Italy. I did see that. What made you decide, with everything else that you've got going on, to say, let's make wine?
That's a much longer conversation for a radio crowd. I don't think that they want to get into that too much. But I can say with some obscurity that winemaking, in a way, unless it's part of your family, like generation to generation, for me, winemaking chose me. It was just the right moment and the right time when it all made sense. And I'm sure there's things that you do in your individual life that you've seen people or yourself, something comes way more naturally to you than it does to maybe your peers or your friends. And winemaking just came naturally to me. So when you get into a thing and you see some success and it resonates with you, you tend to pursue it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a very big fan of your Petite Syrah, actually. I was on your the Caduceus website, and in your staff, you have 3 dogs listed on your staff, one of which is the general manager. Oh, you've got 4. Okay, I saw 3. So are they all yours?
It depends on if you ask my daughter.
Okay. Fair enough. The general manager, I think I saw in the picture with you.
That was if that was Miho, she passed away. We have a new manager named Shorzy, and she's more in charge.
Okay, so she runs the place with her same kind of dog, short of stature.
She runs me.
Okay, fair enough. I have to say that was one of my favorite things, just because I am such a dog lover. I love dogs more than I like most people. So to see them on your staff, I thought was pretty epic.
Yeah, we now have a hawk, because my wife is a falconer now. So we also have a hawk that's kind of our forward observer.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. More animals on staff than people, perhaps?
There's a psychosis going on in our family that cannot be tracked.
I think it's great. I think we need more businesses like that in the world, quite frankly.
Yeah.
You also have a history of improv sketch comedy. Is there anything you don't do or didn't do at one time in your life? You were in the Army.
The dishes. I'm awful at the dishes.
Yeah.
I don't do dishes.
I mean, that's fair. You do a lot of other things. Jiu-jitsu. Talk to me about that. I know, big passion of yours.
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things I've ever done, and it's a long journey, and that's a thing that doesn't come naturally to me, but it had to work harder at it. So the balance of really doing a thing that's difficult to do and difficult to learn and difficult to master, combined with things that come naturally to you, I think that's a good balance to maintain, to keep your brain alive.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that there's a lot of mental challenge with jiu-jitsu. I've never done it personally. I have a friend who does it. Have you found that it's helped or changed your stage presence at all?
I think it's just puzzle solving. It's more mental.
Yeah. Fair enough. So when you come here to Norfolk, you said you typically, it's wine, it's jiu-jitsu. So you're not just traveling with your bands anymore. You're traveling with kind of all of your endeavors.
Yeah, I mean, because it all depends on which. Usually, it's the band that brings me to town, but it's not just the band that I end up doing while in town.
Yeah. Okay. So you come in town for the band and you do the others while you're here, basically.
If there's time, yes.
Okay. Now, with how long that you've been doing this, How are you putting your set list together? You know, like you said, you know, Existential Reckoning is the latest album, which came out in 2020. But, you know, obviously you have many years of music that people love. What does that look like?
Well, a good third of the set is from previous albums, but we do focus on the main new album just because for us, touring it and playing those songs live helps really refine them. So when we actually have them as a rotating part of the next set, we know which ones to pull out and add into that 33% of the set, and they shine. So you know, it really is like constantly sharpening the knife.
Yeah. Do you change it every night, the set list?
We swap a few songs out, but for the most part, because the show was hinged on what we're actually doing and some of the videos that we're playing and everything, it's kind of like I said, it's like going to see the Book of Mormon.
Yeah.
Or you know, it's a stage presentation. It's a play in a way.
Yeah. So exciting. And then, so you were born in Ohio. You spent some time in Los Angeles. Jerome, Arizona, 467 people is the population.
468.
Okay. What made you choose Jerome, Arizona?
Again, it chose me.
Okay. Was it because of the winemaking?
No, that was not there yet. It's a place that resonated with me when I got there. A friend of mine brought me there. I'm from a small town. You skipped Michigan.
Yeah, I did. Yes.
I grew up in Michigan. I was born in Ohio, but I grew up in Michigan. I went to high school in Michigan. I still have a home in Michigan. And so it's a small town, population 2,000, called Scottville, and I still have roots there. So for me as a creative person and a storyteller and a farmer, the smaller town resonates better with me. I'm not a big town person.
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting, you know, winemaking in Arizona. I was like, why Arizona? And then I looked it up. I didn't realize that winemaking started there in the 16th century. I felt kind of dumb actually being a wine drinker, having not.
Yeah, it's a high elevation wines. If you've ever had a Malbec from Argentina, uh, that's the same elevation. It's just the similar distance away from the equator than we are. So if you've accepted that Argentina makes wine, then you need to accept that Arizona makes wine.
Very interesting. Yeah, I love that. Well, again, you guys are going to be here. You're going to be here next week at Chrysler Hall, November 3rd. We are looking forward to seeing you. And do you have any super exciting places in between? Now, I know you're in Texas now, but between now and next Thursday?
Yeah, I mean, always it's you know, we're in Nashville. I love being in Texas. It's always great shows. Yeah, every city has its signature, and they're each unique, and it's always fun to see how this show translates to that particular frequency.
Yeah. Well, and especially, you know, again, being that the world shut down for a period of time, everybody is so drawn to live music now. I feel like the energy in the crowds has changed since then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, to a point. Yeah, but I think, you know, I have been touring since 1991, uh, pretty much nonstop. So there's only just a couple hiccups in there. That year and a half hiccup. I think people picked right up where they left off with us, with me anyway.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think everybody has I think that was everybody wanted to. In general, like, let's just go back to where it was and pretend the last couple of years didn't.
Yeah, we'll just pretend. That's good luck with that.
Yeah, I know. Well, it hasn't worked out so far, but I have hope.
Yes.
So your streaming events this weekend, they could get tickets for that. And then, like I said, again, Chrysler Hall in Norfolk next Thursday, November 3rd. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me.
Thank you, and make sure you take out the garbage on your way out.
Yes, I will. I will indeed. This was FM99's Backstage Pass presented by Area 51 Tobacco and Novelties.